First this morning, starting with that big breaking news that's coming in, Pakistan's port city of Karachi has been labelled the hub of anti-India jihadist groups and criminals who enjoy the support of the Pakistani army. The Brussels-based think tank International Crisis Group releasing a report saying that terrorist groups like the Lashkar-e-Toiba and the Jaish-e-Mohammed work freely and without any kind of hindrance from Pakistani law enforcement authorities. The report also speaks of well-funded jihadist organizations in Karachi proactively tapping young men. The report comes at a time when India and Pakistan and the tensions between the two countries are at an all-time high, and Pakistan has been put under pressure by the Trump administration as well to maintain a tough stance on homegrown terror. And we've got Parikshit joining us on the phone line. Parikshit, this is once again another confirmation of something that India has been crying hoarse about at every global fora, but this time around it's coming from a neutral agency, an international body that's exposing how Pakistan is allowing these terrorists a free run.
Absolutely, and it's a damning report for Pakistan. This is an international think tank which has come out with this observation that groups like the Lashkar-e-Toiba, the Jamaat-ud-Dawa, the Jaish-e-Mohammed are very well entrenched as far as madrasas and NGOs in Pakistan are concerned. Remember, they're talking about Karachi in this report, saying that all these madrasas receive a lot of funds and have connections with these terror groups which pose a threat to India. Karachi is also the place where Dawood Ibrahim lives. Over the last many years, India has been providing evidence of all these terrorists, Dawood Ibrahim, but Pakistan has always been denial. So this only shows that Pakistan has a selective approach when it comes to terrorists. They have targeted terrorists which probably pose a threat to American interests or Chinese interests, but when it comes to India, some of these terror groups are treated as good terrorists. So that is the bias as far as their fight is concerned, and that's why India is reluctant to go back to the talking table, because action has not been taken against these terror groups as yet.
Right, and as far as Pakistan's dealing with these terrorists is also concerned, every time there's been a terror attack on Indian soil as well, when India has submitted proof of the same to Pakistani authorities, these terrorists are either put under house arrest for a brief while, Parikshit, and then let go. You had Hafiz Saeed saying this week as well that the ban on him should be lifted immediately by the Pakistani government. All of these have been indicators for a long while now of the kind of open support that terrorists enjoy on Pakistani soil.
And imagine the audacity. Hafiz Saeed, somebody who is a mastermind of the 26/11 attack, somebody who is under house arrest, somebody who is responsible for killing 160 people, has the audacity to write straight to the interior minister of the country. He's in fact done that. He's been put under house arrest earlier, but was later let off. So even right now, the procedures really haven't changed. We've seen no extraditing of the 26/11 trial or the Pathankot attack trial. There have been many talks, many discussions between India and Pakistan over this, and Pakistan only keeps asking for more evidence, blaming India for stalling the trial, saying that you're not cooperating, you don't let eyewitnesses come to Pakistan for deposing in terror cases. As far as Pathankot is concerned, recently the Pakistan government had blamed India, saying that for the last 1 year we've been demanding a certain set of evidence, and you replied to our letter only after a year. So that blame game continues, but we've really seen no action by Pakistan on the ground. Yes, they're under pressure from the Trump administration. That's why they've gone ahead and taken action against Jamaat-ud-Dawa and the Hafiz Saeed. But will that translate into some tangible action for India? That really remains to be seen, and it seems unlikely at this stage.
Right, but how long can the denial really continue? So far, every time India has raised these allegations, Pakistan's dismissed them, but this time around it's a neutral think tank, something based out of Brussels, that's spoken to people on the ground to submit this report. Is this a diplomatic shot in the arm for India, and what can we do with these findings?
Well, it is a diplomatic shot in the arm, and we can always go back and in back-channel talks, we can always say that, yes, look at this international think tank. They're also reporting that there are these madrasas, there are these recruiting points. These are terror groups which are flourishing openly. They're trying to recruit youngsters, indoctrinating them to go ahead and carry out attacks or interfere in India's internal affairs, especially as far as Jammu and Kashmir is concerned. J&K continues to be a part of their foreign policy. So there are two things that India can do. One, make sure that the dialogue remains suspended. There are no engagements, either back channel, either by a back channel or by a front channel that is happening at the moment, and also use this report with countries like US, China, Russia, and other members of the Security Council to put pressure on Pakistan. But like we've seen, they have a strong ally in China, and completely unlikely that China would change its view vis-a-vis Pakistan.
Right. Parikshit, stay on with us. We've also got General Raj Kadyan joining us on the phone line, a defense expert. General Raj Kadyan, we've got this report by an international think tank which is indicting Pakistan. It's detailing how these terror groups not just have a free run on Pakistani soil, but also are in a sense enjoying support from the Pakistani army. This is something India has been saying for years now. How do you think this particular report is going to change how the rest of the world sees Pakistan?
This, I'm sure, is going to further strengthen the world's suspicion about Pakistan's intention to curb terrorism, which they've been professing. This anything coming from India is looked at with suspicion by Pakistan, but this coming from an international think tank cannot be doubted on the face value, as Pakistan has been doing. And I'm sure even China will realize that there is a limit up to which they can bail them out. And this is going to be another setback to Pakistan, its isolation internationally.
Right. Lieutenant General Raj Kadyan, just stay on with us. Let's also get in a voice from across the border. Rahimullah Yousafzai, a defense analyst from Pakistan, joining us on the phone line. Mr. Yousafzai, good morning. Thanks so much for speaking to us here on CNN News 18. This report that's come in from an international think tank based out of Brussels, the International Crisis Group, is clearly explaining the kind of support that terrorists in Pakistan enjoy because of the administration, because of the army. Can Pakistan still be in denial about not giving any sort of support to terrorists who are waging a war against India?
You know, Pakistan has not been denying it wholly. They say that there are groups which are involved in terrorism, and most of these groups have already been outlawed in Pakistan. So that's not something new. But, you know, ICG has given reports in the past as well, and they have criticized the Pakistani establishment. They have criticized the lack of resolve, the lack of action against some of these groups. It's not the first time that they are doing it. So I think that, you know, this is actually nothing new, because there are, you know, earlier reports. If you look at the past reports, they have been critical of Pakistan's policy regarding Afghanistan. They have been critical about the policy of not trying to choke the funding of these groups. So that has been happening in the past also.
Right, but in this particular instance, this report is different. We're speaking of state-sponsored support to these terrorists, which has been well established by the kind of people that they've spoken to. That's something that Pakistan has denied consistently at every single forum.
I haven't read the report, you know, but what I know about ICG, you know, I know the people who work in Pakistan and abroad in the ICG. So, you know, they have always been very critical of Pakistan, and they have been critical of Pakistani policies. So I think if they have got some more evidence, then that is something new, but I haven't read the report.
I can quote a portion to you. They say that these outfits, essentially the Jaish-e-Mohammed and the Lashkar-e-Jhangvi, operate madrasas and charity fronts with no hindrance from Pakistani law enforcement authorities. That's something that India has been saying consistently. What I'm trying to ask you is, will Pakistan still be denying this? We were speaking of an independent group that's come out with this report. Can they still say that, no, we don't support terrorists that are waging a proxy war against India?
You know, a number of madrasas have been closed down because they had links with terrorists and with militancy. It's not, you know, we know about that. Lashkar-e-Jhangvi, you know, is now fighting the Pakistani state. And Lashkar-e-Jhangvi Al-Alami, a splinter group of Lashkar-e-Jhangvi, is even more, you know, determined to fight Pakistan. They have been claiming responsibility for a number of attacks inside Pakistan. So this group actually, you know, maybe in the past, these groups were, you know, in contact with the Pakistani authorities, but now most of them have turned against Pakistan.
Right, stay on with us, Mr. Yousafzai. We've also got Lieutenant General Raj Kadyan. Mr. Kadyan, just weigh in. Pakistan saying essentially that there's nothing new in this report. We need more evidence, and saying that there has been some sort of a crackdown on some terror groups, and that Pakistan is in a sense delivering on its promise to act against homegrown terror.
The moot point is whether the terror groups in Pakistan are enjoying the patronage and support of the Pakistani establishment. That is the point to be proved, and there is no doubt there may be some groups which are acting against Pakistan. That's why Pakistan is also suffering from terror attacks. But there are some groups which are their favorites. And that is what the world has been saying, that you cannot make a distinction between good terrorists and bad terrorists.
Right.
LET, Jaish-e-Mohammed are constantly being used by Pakistan, that is Pakistani army, Pakistani establishment, to attack Indian soil. Even 3 days ago in Hanwada attack, 2 Pakistani nationals have been killed.
Right.
So they cannot deny that Pakistani establishment, these training camps are still running in POK.
Right.
So they are not serious in acting against these 2 terror groups. They have done nothing against Hafiz Saeed. I mean, that taking him under house arrest is under international pressure, and that too, it's a shame. Nothing is actually happening.
Right.
He was mastermind of Bombay attack. Jaish-e-Mohammed did the Pathankot attack. Nothing has happened against them.
Right. Lieutenant
They
General
are
Raj,
enjoying their patronage. They are working under the umbrella of the Pakistani army and Pakistani establishment.
Right. Lieutenant General Raj Kadian, thanks so much for being with us. Also thanks to Rahimullah Yusufzai, defense analyst from Pakistan. So Pakistan saying that we need more proof, but India clearly saying this is once again a bit that's exposed Pakistan's proxy war against India.